Welcome to my first wrap-up video of 2025. I am beginning January by setting up my monthly cover page. It doesn't serve any purpose other than I enjoy making it and being creative with beautiful images I otherwise wouldn't get to use. Sometimes I include a little TBR, sometimes not, but I usually include a little literary quote. I'm very into Oscar Wilde right now, so I might let him be the theme for every page this year. We'll see. I just love the sound and feeling of tearing paper. There's something I can't quite describe about it, sort of meditative and calming. It's one of my favorite parts of journaling. And there we are. January is all prepared, and look, it's me reading an romance book to the words of Oscar Wilde. My first book of 2025 was Cair by Erin Hawke, a new-to-me author and the first in a series called Veiled City. It's one of those urban fantasy paranormal books with fey creatures sharing the human world with fated mates and magic. This one has a fey prince who has been allowed to spend 100 years in the human realm and he meets his fated mate 99 years into that period. Bummer. It was okay, didn't rock my world, but momentarily entertaining. Not sure I liked it enough to continue the series. We'll see. Next is some more fantasy, namely a Little Red Riding Hood retelling. What's not to like about that? Alpha of Mortal Flesh by Ben Alderson. It's a freestanding story within his Darkmourn universe. I haven't read any other books by him, but I felt like I followed along well enough, even though this is book 3. It's a shifter story, if you hadn't figured that out already. The Red Riding Hood retelling sort of gave it away. It was entertaining, if a bit long, and sometimes I had a hard time keeping up with whose point of view we were in, since it jumps back and forth in time as well as between characters. I found this lovely fan art from the book on the author's X. I'll link it in the video description. More paranormal. I feel like I'm filling my yearly quota of fantasy and paranormal in January alone. Villainous Things by C. Rochelle is a series of 4 books. I did a spread for book 1 that you can see in my 2023 flip through. I finally got around to the last 2 books in the series, so I took the opportunity to reread the whole thing and do spreads for the rest of the books as well. The series is set in an alternate present-day USA where superheroes and supervillains are a thing. The villainous things are the Suarez siblings, who each get a book where they find their Inventus, which is the fated mate's version of this universe. Gentlemen Prefer Villains sees the oldest brother, Wolfgang, or the Hand of Death as his supervillain name is, hire the human Simon as his assistant as he sets out looking for his sister who has been missing since the last book. This is super funny, like laugh out loud funny, and very spicy. Philip Alsies and Nick J. Russo did a great dual narration. Gentleman was a reread, but putting out for a hero I got in an Audible sale a while back. Second to youngest brother, Balthazar, or Blunt Force, his supervillain name, or the dumb one as he goes by in the family group chat, which we get to hear a lot of. The Suarez clan must form a political alliance, and they do so by marrying off Balthazar to a girl from a superhero family. But darn, he falls for her brother instead, a lizard shifter named Cyan, or Scaled Justice, or Lizard D-I-C-K as he will be referred to in the family group chat later, while Balthazar is only gay for Lizard D-I-C-K. All these aliases crack me up. This is probably my favorite of all 4 books. It explores the overall plot and mythology that runs through the whole series, as well as just putting the characters through a bunch of shenanigans. And Cyan has a daughter, and I'm a sucker for the cute kid trope when it's done well. Last one is Enter the Multiverse, which is Triple M. The youngest Suarezes are the twins Gabe and Andre, Thing 1 and Thing 2 in the group chat, who find happiness with a silver fox alien called Theo. It goes on in the same style as the rest, but I do feel this book would have benefited from a triple narration rather than dual, and I would have liked to rearrange the roles a bit. Instead of having Nick J. Russo voice Theo and Philip Alsey's voice both of the twins, I would have picked Russo to voice Gabriel, Alsey's for Theo, and then I would have thrown in Liam DeCosimo to voice Andre, but that's just me. Next, a break from the paranormal with some contemporary. Damaged by Hayden Hall is set in this multi-author universe which centers around a luxury island resort called Black Diamond. I've read Splintered in this universe before and enjoyed it, so I thought I'd give this a try as well. Damaged was a lot heavier and more serious than Splintered, but I enjoyed it in a different way. It deals a lot with addiction and relapse and loss of a partner, which are not topics I am too comfortable with. I lost my partner 10 years ago, but I'm trying to push my boundaries a bit. Matthew and Tiago meet at the resort when they are forced to share a cabin, because there was only one left. Matthew is fresh out of the rehab side of the island and is hidden away at the resort by his dad, so he won't ruin his conservative presidential campaign with his gayness. Tiago is the 10th luckiest lottery winner of all time. He won like a gazillion dollars, but he lost the one thing he cares about as an indirect result. So he is also in a very dark place. Lots of drama ensues, and Matthew and Tiago must save America and thus the world by stopping Matthew's awful dad from running for president of the United States by being so gay together he won't be able to run for the presidency. Does it work? You'll have to read to find out. Next, what I thought would be my final book spread this month, and I assumed it would be my top read this month. Symphony of Salvation by Nicky James, one of my most frequently read and highest rated authors. It's a freestanding follow-up to Promises of Forever, which came out last year. This one is about Niles, best friend and ex of Koa from the first book. Niles is the music teacher at the private school they both teach at, and one day he gets a new student, this amazingly talented girl who is suffering the after effects of a rare form of cancer which has left her unable to speak other than through some sort of vocal implant. But she doesn't like the way her voice sounds with it, so she refuses to talk and communicates only with ASL, which her mother has taught her. When her mother is arrested and put away for reasons, the authorities call the dad who never wanted her and who she hardly knows and who doesn't know ASL, and they pretty much say, "Come pick up your daughter or she'll be put into the foster care system." So her dad, Augustus, enrolls her in Timber Creek Academy, and he also gets a position as musical guest teacher, since he is a famous maestro and composer, which Niles hates because he thinks Augustus is going to steal his job. Niles also connects with August's daughter in a way August can't, which August hates. So they start out with a bit of an enemies vibe, but eventually find salvation in each other. Lovely, slow, low-key sort of book that I gave 4.5 stars. Then, with a bit over a week left of January, I had read so many new books and done so many spreads already, so I had to stop to make room for the rest of the year. So I figured I'd just pick something light and easy to listen to keep me company, because I need that buzz in my ear or I get stressed. I enjoy Chris Chambers' voice, so I did a search for him on Storytel and found some Wolf Shifter book series that I hit play on, and figured this will be one of those 3-star reads you find briefly entertaining and forget as soon as you're done. And I won't have to do a full spread for it, or at the most do a combo spread for the whole series later if I ever finish it. Well, that backfired majorly because I devoured the 4-book series in just a few days. The Lunar Wolves series by Kiki Borelli was nothing like I expected. I enjoyed it so much. It's set in this present-day America where werewolves and witches exist alongside humans, but humans are not aware of them. Werewolves and witches have this sacred pact where prominent werewolves and witches are mated to strengthen both their species and to honor this old pact. Axe is the chief of the Lunar Council Enforcement Agency in a place called Crescent City. He is a lunar wolf, which is the werewolf species native to our world, but there are also solar and celestial wolves who came through a portal from another world 50 years ago and are since unable to return, so they are stuck here and they are working on a way to construct a new portal in Crescent City in order to go home to their world, which makes up the plot that runs through the whole series. Anyway, for Axe to keep his job, he must mate a witch ASAP, and since arranged matings are a thing in this world, he pretty much buys Caden, who is the son of a witch couple, estranged from their clan and the paranormal world, and Caden doesn't know he's a witch or that werewolves exist. Long story short, Axe's contract with Caden's parents end up being cancelled, but Caden is in desperate need of money to take care of his sick grandfather, so he agrees to go through with the mating if Axe pays him instead. So Axe brings Caden back to Crescent City, where he is introduced to this paranormal world, and they go through this sort of trial period as mates where they live together, and you can probably guess how their relationship progresses from there. The fake boyfriend trope is not one I'm usually drawn to, but I enjoyed this a lot. So much drama and unexpected twists and turns. Loved it. In the next 3 books, we get to acquainted with Axe's 3 Lunar Council Enforcement Agency agents and close friends as they find their mates. Tension is about werewolf Huxley and his childhood friend Ezra, a witch familiar who shapeshifts into Canaan form, and he is followed around by this pack of actual wolves that he can talk to. And he uses his talk to animals power to train service dogs for the human world, which is sweet. In this we get a friends to lovers trope, and it also continues the overall plot of the series with more drama and unexpected turn of events. Another 4 stars. Next up is Force, about Sai, who has been promised to a witch named David pretty much since David was born. They have never met or been in any sort of contact, but when the time comes for them to mate, David is brought to Crescent City by his chaperone and protector for the mating period. It's very soon made clear that David is extremely sheltered and has lived isolated with his chaperone, this dreadful guy who has trained him since he was little to be the perfect submissive mate. Not for Sai, but for himself. I hated him so much for what he has done to David, and I loved how David began to unfurl and blossom under Sai's care. So this book is an arranged marriage. Cute guy runs from abusive guy to find a new big strong guy to protect him, which is my favorite trope. 5 stars, more amazing drama, and I love listening to these books as they are very unpredictable. You can never figure out what direction the story is going to take. Last up is Thrust, about Sane, the werewolf, and Tally, a witch from the most feared and powerful witch clan in the country. Sane's dreadful dad has arranged meetings for him for years to gain influence and money, and then cancelled them once he's gotten what he wants. The latest of Sane's arranged mates is Tally, who had a horrible experience with his first attempt at mating and has since decided to act as the most awful, spoilt brat in front of every mate his mother arranged for him in order to avoid them. So they both have a long history of failed arranged matings behind them. Tali is this femme bratty guy, and his clan is described as the only clan native to America. They were there first, and all other witch and werewolf clans emigrated from Europe. Which made me think of his clan as Native American, and I really wanted images to represent this, but image searches for small 19-year-old twink Native American guy with long hair and makeup didn't give me much, so I settled for a sort of combination of character inspo pics. Tali has this really dark history of abuse that is slowly unraveled, and of course his horrible first arranged mate appears in Crescent City and sets this whole series of events in motion that threatens not only David and Sane, but the whole city. So many twists and unexpected turns, and oh my god, that ending! I need more, like now. And Tali's ninja Native American mother, once she showed up and redeemed herself, I loved her. hard to decide which book in this series is my favorite, but I decided to go with Thrust to represent the series as a whole, and it is also my top read this month. Sorry, Niles and August. I sure didn't expect that when I pressed play on the first book. So that's it for my January book spreads. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found some new books for your TBR. And make sure to subscribe to my channel for more reading journal videos. I am so amazed and flattered by all the people who enjoy my videos. I'll see you in a month when I'm back with my February wrap-up. Until then, bye!